Hello students, today we are starting chapter number 9, the golden fish. It is a folktale. Folktale means said by the peoples of that locality. It is a Russian folktale related to Russia. So let's start. Once upon a time on the island of Buyan. Buyan is the name of a place. There is an island and we are talking about that island only. There stood a small tumble down cottage, and in that cottage dwelt an old man and woman. They lived in a great poverty. Two poor people were living there in that island in a tumble down cottage. Tumble down means broken cottage. Tutti futti jhopdi mein. There lived two old women and men. Okay. So now I am summarizing the story. Old man used to cast his net and he tried to catch some fish. He tried to catch some fish to feed his family. Okay, to feed his family. But how many fish he could catch? It was not sufficient for them. It was only sufficient to keep their body and their soul together. Body and soul together means to live only. It was sufficient to live only, not for the nutrition. It was sufficient. Even many of the time it was like that he could barely catch any fish. किसी किसी दिन तो उसे fish भी नहीं मिल पाती थी. So one day what happened that when the old man cast his net, suddenly he found that net is having some heavy weight. It is having something that is having heavy weight. भारी वजनदार कोई चीज उस नेट में आकर फंस गई. He was thinking that it is a fish, means बहुत बड़ी सी fish. But when he put all his efforts to bring that net to his boat, अपनी बोट में लाने के लिए उन्होंने बहुत मेहनत की. What he found when he looked that, he found that the net is empty. Nothing is there except a little fish, and that was a golden fish. The golden fish was not ordinary fish. It was something special because it could speak in human voice. It can talk like a human. इंसान की तरह बोल सकती थी. So what that fish said? Don't take me, old man. Let me go back to the deep blue sea, and I'll be useful to you. I'll do whatever you wish. The fish said, let me go, old man. I will be useful for you if you will let me go to the blue deep sea. I'll grant a wish that you will have. तुम्हारी इच्छा मैं पूरी करूंगी अगर तुम मुझे जाने दोगे. She said like that. By listening, the old man felt pity for that fish and he dropped that fish into the sea once again. Then after it, what happened? When he returned his home, when the old woman asked, how many fish you have caught today? He said, nothing but a single golden fish. He said, nothing I have caught but a single golden fish only, and that I threw back into the sea. Because it spoke in human voice. And it said like that, let me go to the deep blue sea, and if you will have any kind of wish, I'll grant that. And by listening this, I felt sorry for the fish and I set it free. I said nothing with that. I said, I don't need anything from you, and he set the fish free. After this, what was the reaction of the old woman? Look, she said, oh, you old devil, exclaimed his wife. She was really angry. Good luck falls from the skies and you haven't the sense to grab it. She was shouting at her husband that the good luck was that the fish was asking for a wish. You could ask anything for us, at least for the bread only. Bread means roti ke liye to पूछ लेते कम से कम. She could give us bread, and she started getting angry and cursed the old man from morning till night, giving him no peace. Means she did not allow that old man to stay peacefully at that day. You could have asked for bread at least. She yelled at him. We won't have a dry crust to eat soon. What you will do then? जल्दी ही हमारे पास खाने को रूखी सूखी रोटी भी नहीं होगी. तब क्या करोगे? In despair, the old man went down to the seashore and asked the golden fish for bread. By परेशान होकर, by the trouble, he went down to the sea and asked the golden fish for the bread. Coming to the sea edge, he shouted in a loud voice. He was shouting in a loud voice, "Fish, oh fish, stand with your tail on the sea and your head facing me." It was his way to call the fish. By this he was calling the fish to help him. Now what happened next? See. By listening his voice, the fish came and asked, "What do you need, old man?" He asked the fish for the bread. That, "Oh, my wife is not giving me peace. Please give me some bread." The fish said, "Go back to your home and say prayers. All will be granted." When he came back to home, there was a plenty of bread. Lots of bread was there. बहुत सारा खाना वहाँ था. Suddenly the greed of that old woman increased. She sent him for a bathtub, for the wash tub, that, "I am not having a wash tub, go and ask for it." When the fish granted that wash tub, her greed increased more. She asked that, "I cannot live in this tumble down cottage, go and ask for a home." When the home was granted, her greed was increased. She sent the old man that, "Go back and ask for the I want to be a fine lady, I want to be a rich lady, and ask your fish to make me like that." When the old man did not want to go again and again, but unwillingly when he went there, he asked the fish that, "My woman is getting madder and madder day by day, she want to be a fine lady." Suddenly that wish also granted. This wish was also granted and she became a fine lady. But when she got all kinds of rich, she did not want that old man to be her husband. वो उनको अपना husband भी नहीं समझना चाहती थी. And when she was tired of being a fine lady, she sent that old man to that when the old man came back to his house, he found that there is a fine house, and he called his wife, "Hi wife," like that. She gave him 40 lashes for that, कि तुम्हारी हिम्मत कैसे मुझे wife बुलाने की. Suddenly her greed increased and she wanted to be a queen. It was also granted. She became a queen. There was a palace, but the old man was forced to live in kitchen and work in the garden only like a sweeper. Okay, he has to sweep the floors. He has to go through the broom and mopping and all that. This kind of work he was doing. But at last, what happened when her greed increased more and more? When she was becoming more greedy day by day, she was being arrogant also. Every time she used to beat her husband, she make her servants to beat her husband. Stable में ले जाकर उसे मारते पीटते. Suddenly she found that, now I have tired to be a queen. अब मैं रानी बनकर भी थक गई. Now she wanted to be the mistress of the sea. So she sent her husband, "Go to your fish and tell her that I want to be the mistress of the sea. समुद्र की रानी बनना चाहती हूँ." When he went there and asked for this kind of wish, suddenly the water of the sea got black as pitch. It was getting blacker and blacker. Suddenly the fish came and he asked for that wish. The fish said nothing and went back to the sea. And when after calling her again and again, when he went his home, he found that there is nothing. The old woman was sitting in a ragged dress. फटी हुए कपड़ों में old woman बैठी थी. And the same tumble down cottage was there, in which they used to live as before. It means her greed increased a lot. उसका लालच बढ़ता गया. And by that she forgot that the fish was granting her every kind of comfort, and she wanted to rule over that fish. वो उसी fish पर राज करना चाहती थी. उसका लालच इतना बढ़ गया. So that fish had taken each and everything that she was given to that lady. So after that they used to live like before that they were living. Look, they began to live as before. पहले की तरह उन्होंने रहना शुरू किया. The old man set about his fishing, but no matter how often he cast the sea, never again did he catch the golden fish. उसके बाद उन्हें कभी ना तो golden fish दिखी, ना ही उन्होंने कभी उसको पकड़ने की कोशिश की. So it was the story that we should not ever become so greedy. Whatever we have got, we should think that it is our fortune that we are having at least something to eat. We are having at least something to live happily. We should not increase our greed day by day. And if we will increase it, this will be the condition. I hope you have understood the moral of the story. Thank you and have a wonderful day.